You're listening to TehachaPod with Key Budge, Corey Costello, and Greg Garrett.
Welcome to another episode of TehachaPod. I'm Key Budge. I've got Corey Costello, Greg Garrett here with me. Gentlemen, this is our holiday edition of TehachaPod.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
That's right.
Yeah, and the beginning of it happens to be, is this day the first day of Hanukkah? I don't want to mess that up when we're recording this.
So when we're recording, I believe Master Moses, or he at the
carpet store.
Thank you. Every year it's a tradition. He'll light the first candle tonight.
There you go.
Yeah,
in his window.
Love that.
I think we're right around there.
So we're going to have a Hanukkah display. We've got Christmas displays going on downtown.
Correct.
It's a great time to cruise around Tehachapi.
So it's a crazy holiday season, but really we need to remember that we need to make sure the children have the most normal Christmas that we can offer them, right? And so this holiday decorating contest, wow, we've had a home run, right? All across this region, people are decorating and doing it up big time. So super excited about that.
And, I had a conversation with you guys before we came on the air, and I had talked to a young family, just prior to coming on, and we probably spent 7 to 10 minutes on the phone just talking about the positivity that she feels.
Yeah.
And they decorate every year, but she says this year was even better. And then she's noticed her neighborhood, it's trickling down. Normally there's only her and maybe one other on her block, but now she says almost the entire block is decorating, where this is a different kind of year.
Well, I've got a guy on my street. He's Mr. Overachiever. My goodness, he put up so many lights, and it's beautifully done. So now this weekend, I'm going to have to put up more. And I was talking to another neighbor, and he's mad, and he's going to do the same thing. But it's all in good fun, right? It's such a good feeling, right?
I think we're going to raise the bar like too high, though, because I've got kids right about that age where they're just starting to remember things. I'm thinking, great. Everyone's doing such a great job with this holiday lighting, and you're trying to make Christmas extra special this year. I'm like, he's going to think this is normal.
Yeah. And so now, with PSPS, so we have no power sometimes. So SCE is not getting any revenue because they're not providing any power, but we're going to make up for it because we're putting up so many lights, and their revenue is going to go up because the meters are spinning. I don't even know.
I will say that because I live in an area that seems to have the switch thrown every time SCE decides it's PSPS time. This, with the decorating, it's like, I go, this is going to be one of the prime weekends, and guarantee there's going to be a little bit of a breeze, and SCE is going to turn off the power. It's like, oh my God, what did I do? But I don't care. I've got lights set up. I can't remember the last time I set up lights.
Yeah.
And it definitely at this place that we've been at for the last 4 years, this is the first time we've done Christmas lights.
Right.
And it just feels good.
Right. And, my Mr. Overachiever down the street from me, he must have a giant generator because his lights never went out.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, that's no fair.
We had someone at City Hall, same thing. Their lights went out, but they ran their house on a generator and their Christmas lights. I said, first of all, your neighbors are already mad. You've got power when they're out, and then you've doubled down by just kind of wasting your electricity by throwing Christmas lights up at the same time.
And we certainly don't want to downplay the negative effects of PSPS have created. But there have been changes to the network and the microgrids, and so we're getting better, that's for sure, in the city and the entire community. But the holiday decorating is just really going well, and I just want to thank everybody for participating in that.
Those of us that live out in Stallion Springs and Bear Valley Springs, we're not quite as excited as that because our infrastructure is probably the last that's going to be done in the microgridding. But I do see the Edison contractors out there, and I can see they're making an effort.
I mean,
it's a few years too late, but, I'm happy to see there's something being done.
I was told by some SCE folks that when they are finished in Bear Valley Springs and Stallion Springs, that those will be, they're like, that's going to be the hardest grid that we own. That thing is going to be robust. So good news is, looking in the future, this hopefully is just a short-term problem, and there'll be a long-term solution.
That's good. And I'm not going to complain because living in Bear Valley Springs, it's very similar to that Paradise Valley and, one way in, one way out, and that kind of thing. So, yeah, you got to err on the side of safety when it comes to lives.
And in the nice thing in the city, now our power's on, so grocery stores are open, gas stations are open, and all of the essentials that people need to carry on with their normal lives, whatever normal is these days. But
it's a big change from last year.
What are the partners that we have with our holiday decorating, Key?
Well, Greg, it started with, let's roll back to where it started. the Christmas parade wasn't going to happen because of the restrictions going on from the governor's office. So we decided, let's get the tree and the street decorations set up early. And then from that was the idea of, how about a holiday decorating contest?
Right.
Tehachapi News had done it in past years, but they weren't going to do it this year. It was perfect time for us to step in and say, hey, let's do this. Mm-hmm. And the community response right away was big. Mm-hmm. Via social media, the responses I got via email for entering. And after the initial chatting about it on social media, then we were approached by The Loop newspaper, having a conversation with Claudia about it, and she wanted to be a part of it. And then after we partnered with The Loop to include not just the city, but to go out into the county areas, then the library, Veronica Wilson, our librarian, says, hey, can I be involved? Similar to what we did on Halloween, maybe we can give away family bags where they'll have fun looking at Christmas lights. We'll do a bingo card and
3D glasses and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
So family fun. You get in the car and you're going to have some fun with some distraction.
And a sleigh bell. I got 2 and 4 year olds. That sleigh bell went in the trash because I'm not giving them that sleigh bell.
I know what I'm going to get your kids for Christmas.
It said no noise and no pieces. But anyway, continue.
But with the library coming on board to give something away, then it was like, well, we're going to need some judging beyond what our city council members are going to do out in the county areas. Then we thought, love Tehachapi. Mm-hmm. My gosh, every time that we've got a yard that needs help because it's a senior citizen or someone who's got medical issues, we always call them and they roll up their sleeves. They get dirty, sweaty, and they take care of things. And it's like, hey, let's throw them something that's positive and maybe a way of saying thank you. Yeah. And they were all about it. Boom, right away. I reached out to Nicole Hamblin at hashtag Love Tehachapi. She had names within minutes to take care of the areas outside of the city. So the collaboration between government, the private sector, 2 different governments too, the city and county, we've come together on the project to bring in the business aspect with The Loop to help promote, and they're taking care of the sponsorship of the county areas, and then to have a private organization, volunteers to come in to help. I mean, that's a collaboration.
It absolutely is.
And the city council is pumped. Every member of the council gets in their city, in the city limits. They all have the award to give out to their district. The mayor will have an award for her district / also the Mayor's Choice Award, which will be a business award. So there's a couple. They're all really excited. They've already been out looking around just generically, and then they get to judge as well. So it's pretty cool how excited they are about it. And we're going to have some really cool awards to the winners. M&M Sports is gonna be producing those, and a photo of your house, plaque, and everything. It's gonna be cool.
I remember when Chrissy and I were raising our children, every year we'd make a point to go to Hagen Oaks down in Bakersfield, and we would tour the lights, and there was a hot chocolate stand, and it was a tradition that we created over the years, and we haven't done it in several years. Of course, our kids are grown now. But I think this is the start of something really cool, I think, in Tehachapi. Yeah. Every year people put up lights. But this year, we've doubled the amount of homes that have put up lights. And I think that, this is the first annual, and people will stay in town. This is a little bit of economic development, if you will. People think, government, you're dry, you're bureaucrats, you're just creating laws, and you're getting in our way. Not at the city of Tehachapi. We are trying so hard to be, we live here. We're part of this fabric, and it matters. This is not a silly little project. This is an important project that people have jumped on board, and people need a positive mental health help at this point, right? I don't want to get too deep, but these sorts of things I take them very serious, and they're very important.
We added the economic piece too with the ability to, some of these businesses have come out. I mean, obviously there's new COVID restrictions on restaurants now, so no dining at all. It's all to go and carry out and stuff. But some of the folks have added this sort of Christmas light special. Yep. I know Kelsey's sort of jumped on board, Historic Kelsey's Cafe downtown, and they got a special for the weekend. Hop in your car. It's, fish and chip meals for the family. And so whoever that may be, that's a great idea to just continue to look for those types of things. If you're going to put the family in the car, maybe grab dinner and make it a long fare, because there's a lot of lights to look at, so you might as well have a meal to go with it.
Well, it's funny because I put out a post, and then I had put in the comments, it says, well, maybe a local restaurant will offer a family, Christmas lights special. And within minutes, Virginia Sheridan, owner of Kelsey's, and her husband, boom, they were right on with that special. Pre-order it, and it'll be curbside, ready to go, and head off, and make sure you have your bingo cards from the library and have some family fun. Because I remember as a kid, we get in the station wagon. Mom and Dad would cruise us around. We'd stop off and get the bucket of chicken, and that would be a part of the ritual as a kid.
Great memories,
Yes.
great memories.
It brought back something that I totally forgot about.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, this was something I did as a kid.
Right.
But I know when we got this started, we thought about, the business quarter. We really wanted to pump the business aspect. But really what took off is the residential area. And I think you said something about wellness and people needing this. And that was part of the conversation I had with the young mom today was, she goes, oh my God. She goes, the kids are looking forward to this. They look up and down the streets at nighttime and they're excited knowing that we're going to go for a ride to go check this out. And then what Dad has done outside. So they're taking pride in this and getting enjoyment and this sense of, I don't know, I hate using that word normalcy, but it's a throwback to old Americana, which Tehachapi has that feel anyway. But it's really throwing back the clock, whether it's the time of the movie The Christmas Story, we're back in the 40s or 50s, But I get that feel of neighborhoods coming together.
Yeah, there's whole streets. I mean, whole streets in the city, whole streets in Golden Hills that neighbors have done multiple houses, and it's almost whole streets are covered. It's really cool, and special thanks to you brought up the library, and you think about what they've done this year. Obviously, their business model is people inside of the library, and they've not had that pretty much all year. But they've done these different packs, whether it was Halloween, it was Christmas, it was these activities on the go that they would do. They used to do the Friday readings and activity, and they couldn't do those, so they've made those kind of a to-go thing. And it's not something you think about, but they found ways to stay busy and to provide things that normally they provide in-house in a bag. And so, I mean, big credit to the Kern County Library and Veronica and her team in Tehachapi, the Tehachapi branch, for coming up with these creative ways to still stay engaged and get the kids especially things they need from the library. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And some of the windows downtown, they haven't put up a lot of lights. And I'm going to challenge businesses to put up lights, right? I talked to Tyler Shyrock over at TK's Pizza the other day, and I'm like, dude, you need to put up little white lights. So Tyler, when you're listening, I know you listen to these, you need to put up little white lights. I'll come by and help you, actually, if you want to do it. But some of the windows downtown, really intricate stuff. It's very cool. If you just slow down, take a deep breath, things will get better, and look at what's around you, the beauty that we've created in Tehachapi. It's super special.
There is that walking stretch that if you stop over by Conan's or Four Seasons Cafe and you walk the boulevard, there are some great window displays that are there. Drive by, you may not notice it, but they don't have the big storefront where they can maybe put out exterior displays because of the sidewalk and the limited space they have, but they've taken advantage of their window space.
Right. Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
And it's pretty hard. Right now, a small business owner, oh my goodness, I can't imagine, right? The politics, the PSPS, the COVID, like they have time to put up lights, right?
Right.
But I think that it might be healthy for them to do something like that. It's certainly going to draw attention to their business, when you're driving by and you think, oh, wow, I could zip in there real quick and buy a little arts and crafts or something for somebody that may, you're still last minute shopping for.
Well, it keeps evolving. From what we started to where we're at now, we've been able to evolve with it and try to accommodate as many businesses and the homes and whatever it is that we've needed. Someone's kind of stepped in and it's grown. It's much bigger than we anticipated. Yeah. So we're closing in on like 100 entries.
Really? Wow.
And that's a fraction of the homes that are decorated.
Yeah.
That's just the people that have sent us their address, that emailed it to me. And I remember when I worked at the Tehachapi News, I had 7 or 8 entries total between like Golden Hills, Bear Valley, and Stallion to go out and take a look at, and that was it. I mean, we're gonna hit 100.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So the competition is only if you enter, right? So even though there may be a really grand, extravagant holiday decorating, if they didn't enter and they don't win, you're not going to win by default, right? You can't win unless you enter.
Right.
Okay, just want to.
It's like the lottery.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got to win.
Got to play to win.
I guess I'll never be rich.
There's no cash awards.
No.
So, I mean, the rules are a little bit free and loose. It's individual to the judge. I mean, they're going to make the decision on who the winners are. I'm not giving them a criteria. It's like whatever moves them.
Yeah.
And it might be something that's very simple.
Yeah.
We saw something that that my wife and I, we've been out taking photos the last few nights at night of the displays. And there was one that she just wanted to look at, and it was a nativity scene, but it was a throwback. It was the older nativity scene where it was the full size, not the blow ups, but it was like, and she just wanted to see it for a minute because it brought her back to being a kid.
Yeah.
So I could see that moved her, versus something that might be a little bit different. It's an individual thing.
Right. We had the Smith family on our street, one of our streets, going to my house growing up. Every year it was the same nativity scene, but it was, it was one of the older plastic light up, but it was a full on production every year. And that thing was out year after year after year. And they changed it up a little bit. And those were those kind of things that, you don't see as much of that anymore. But those were those cool kind of memories. And there was certain houses, I think even Greg and I were talking about the other day. Remember this certain house on Westwood used to always put this giant tower up about 30 feet above the house and string lights down. You could see it from space. Yep. People did those kind of things.
And the seeing from space is cool. The Clark Griswold house. Right? That's really cool. But key to your point, it can be elegant. It can be just tasteful too, right?
Yeah.
And so we appreciate all of the decorating.
We were going to spend an hour. We spent 2.5 hours because there was, and we really kind of, I want to say, scratched the surface last night. I mean, there's that many homes, and I'm looking. I've got the list of streets that have called in, but we're driving, and all of a sudden, hey, there's a lot of lights coming down this street. It's not on my list. And we'd make the turn and go down. I was like, wow. So if you just get your family in the car, and just know you're going to spend a couple hours, and maybe even it's over a few nights. You're going to enjoy it. We did. Yep. I mean, and we didn't have the grandkids with us or anything. It was just Chris and I, and we had a great date night, just cruising around and looking at the holiday lights.
That's so cool.
And they're not done setting up.
Yeah, right. I think people are going to be adding stuff up until even after our competition is over, I got a feeling people are going to be adding stuff up till Christmas. You know, just because they'll just think this is what's really happening is it's one thing that everybody can control right now, right? You can control your yard, your Christmas display. However space you have or don't have to decorate, you can control that space, you can control that decoration. So, and you have maybe you're not traveling as much, so you have some extra money around to buy more stuff too. So that's, I think, what we're seeing a lot of.
Well, what's funny is, so we had decorated just before Thanksgiving. So we were set up our house with the lights before Thanksgiving, and everything is a white. And that's what Chris wanted. So we set it up. Everything was white. After last night, she goes, I really like the color. I'm like, come on, dear. We committed to white. I thought she goes, no,
you're going to do exactly what she wants, right? Because that's what we do.
I know. But it was almost comical. I'm like, you want us to bring in all the color lights? I really like the red and the green, the blue. Yeah. So, we're going to be making some changes and probably additions to it. So
very cool.
But anyway, I'm just happy that the community is responding the way they are. Yeah. Whether it's in Stallion and Bear Valley, Golden Hills, here in the city, we're all in it together. We all put the same zip code on our envelopes when we send out the bills. Yeah, it's all 93561. So it's nice being in the city where normally we have to just make sure our focus is here. But now when we get to include our neighboring communities, I think this is, with what's going on with the pandemic, I mean, it really sheds the light that we're all neighbors.
That's right.
For sure.
We may have boundaries to what we can do and what gets governed here and where money can get spent, the physical boundaries, but we're all neighbors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we've got, did we already talk about Panda, or we talked about it beforehand?
No.
I mean, there's something else that's going on here.
Speaking of spending money, we got, it was open today. It was their first sort of quiet opening. That doesn't happen in Tehachapi. The second people see your doors are open, it's a mad rush. But Panda Express, which was for a pretty long, not long process in terms of development, because they actually built it in 6 months. I mean, dirt to doorknob was 6 months, which was pretty impressive. They had a great crew. But at least as long as I've been here, over 3 years, we've been in conversations of some sort with Panda Express about coming to Tehachapi, and they were really hinging on the Walmart project. And when that became a reality, that conversation, the dominoes started to fall, so to speak, for them. And they've been fantastic to work with. It's a corporate-owned store, so you're not dealing with necessarily a local ownership group, although they hire plenty of local people. So that makes the process a little smoother sometimes. And, what a great job they've done. Jay, our development services director, and I got a chance to kind of go in there a few times and walk around where they were still building it. And it's unfortunate. I mean, people can go in and order right now, and to go, you can order online, that kind of stuff, and go in and pick up, which is really cool. But it's unfortunate you can't eat in the dining room right now because it is, I mean, I'm not lying. It's the nicest Panda Express I've ever been to. I mean, the tabletops are, it's like milled wood tabletops and beautiful, light sconces and pendant lights hanging from the ceiling. It's amazing. It really is cool. I was talking to the manager. She came out of the store down in Bakersfield, Brundage, and she said, "I am in love with this building," and so she's really excited, and it's a great look. And they've been serving a lot of people today, and they'll continue to do so. They're doing it very quickly and efficiently. I mean, we were super impressed. Of course, we were there at like 10:30 in the morning, like way before lunchtime, but we had to get it done. We had to do our part and contribute to their opening. So, exciting. And I think it's been a good project, and construction to opening has been cool, and I'm glad it's here.
And then we have NYC Subs over in the Albertsons shopping center.
Yep.
I heard they opened recently. I haven't been there yet, but super excited about NYC Subs.
Yeah, I popped in the other day. They were kind of busy. I didn't stay, but really good looking restaurant, and they serve really quality ingredients. Some of people are familiar with Boar's Head. It's a pretty high quality brand of deli meats, and so they everything's made with Boar's Head stuff, which is really cool. And they've got more than just subs. They've got chicken wings and all kinds of stuff to go, which is cool.
And then we have a furniture store. I don't think they've opened yet.
They have.
But they did.
Yeah,
okay.
I saw her.
Over
she
by
announced it.
Sears.
Yeah, and it was announced on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super excited about that. So another opportunity in the city.
And that was something. I mean, to date myself, the last time that suite was occupied, it was a Blockbuster Video. And so literally these folks, when they took this over, when they called about space, and I gave them some options, and I threw that out there knowing they wanted to do furniture, and they got a lease signed really quick. It was awesome. When they went in there, they had to literally still take down, Blockbuster used to have the slotted walls where they'd put they had to take those down. Those were still up. I mean, if you go in the back by their dumpster, they still had some blue Blockbuster shelving and stuff they had to throw away. I mean, it had sat there as a Blockbuster for, I don't know how many years. It's been like 10 that's been closed. Yeah. And so anyway, they took that over, and those folks over there, got a chance to visit. I haven't seen it now that it's open, but Gina and her partners in that store, the stuff they have in there is amazing. Chandeliers, obviously furniture sets, beds, dining room, dinettes, couches, love seats, all that stuff. It's really high end and really, really awesome. And I'm
congratulations to her. And then Valley Strong, they broke ground on the new credit union there over by the Kaiser and Starbucks Center, just north of Walmart. Yeah. So they're moving dirt, putting in infrastructure. So 6-8 months from now, we'll have a brand new credit union building with a drive-through. So super excited about their expansion plans for Tehachapi. So
and I know
going well.
And I know even local existing businesses, Red House Barbecue, Mano Lujan and his family own that restaurant. They also own the Shed across the street, which has been a few different things. And he used it early on during COVID as kind of a pickup barbecue, and then he started making it in a drive-through. And then when things opened back up, he went back to Red House. Well, now that there's still some dining restrictions, he's opened it back up as actually a drive-through for Red House. So the entire Red House barbecue menu is available, and you pull up to the old sliding fruit loading doors, and they take your order, and they can actually fill it fairly quickly. And so it's a drive-through version of Red House.
You can go with your family and look at Christmas lights and go to Kelsey's and get a dinner. Yeah. Or you could go to the Red House and get a barbecue dinner. And that might be a little messy. You might want to get some more extra naps, And,
nothing says Christmas lights like eating ribs.
Sounds really good to me. Well, congratulations to Mono for doing that. So people are very creative in getting things done.
And that's when he's been a story, and so many of these people have been a story. These restaurant owners, especially, but small business in general, have just been a great story of doing something different because they've been forced into it by the state. And so, Mono has figured out ways to keep people employed, hire more people, which is great. I mean, there are folks that might be losing jobs in one restaurant. He's able to pick them back up because his model is a little bit different. So it is encouraging to see sort of the adaptations that we've seen. I mean, it's unfortunate that it has to happen, But I think it just shows the resiliency of this community and the people in this community to pull this stuff off.
Well, I know West Lane Brewery, you can go get beer, and there's a food truck there.
Yeah.
So you don't want to drink and drive, but some of the best beer in all of Tehachapi. You know, we have a couple great breweries here. So, you know, kudos to West Lane and his team over there, Derek Davis. So good stuff.
The only good thing that's come out of COVID was the ability to take to-go alcohol. I mean, ABC's allowed that, and it's benefited a ton of businesses to be able to do that. I mean, TK's Pizza is a good example too. You can buy your pizza and your 6-pack of beer. Normally, under his license, that wouldn't be allowed. But they've allowed that for restaurants to have that. Obviously, it's got to be sealed. You can't be, like Craig said, sipping it out of a straw in your car. But that has actually been a pretty good economic boost for some of these people that usually normally you're like, nope, sorry, I can't sell you this.
Well, and the collaboration of businesses where the wineries, they need to bring food in if they didn't have, and they're bringing in an outside restaurant to do that, or a caterer or whatever it is. But we're seeing collaborations of businesses that benefit both. Otherwise, they'd both be impacted.
Yeah, that's right.
And even speaking of Westland, I did see something on social media the other day. Their beer is now being carried at B&B Liquor downtown. And that's big. I mean, that's it's a local distribution hub for West Lane Breweries. So when they're not open, there's more points of sale. They've been carried at TK's Pizza for several years. But to have that ability to walk in, and now that they have labels on their cans and everything, that's a good distribution center for a small brewery to have that too. So those are those kind of partnership pieces, and you can get when wineries are being able to get their wines in stores and restaurants as well. That helps them not rely so much on their tasting room as the sole source of income.
Yeah. We definitely, we got to find some of the positive that have gone on in 2020. And I think some of that is people reinventing themselves to survive.
Yeah.
And then also for us as the residents, making sure we're supporting our local business, and taking care of our neighbors. So I've really seen that, a concerted effort by people to make sure we stay local.
And it's forced people into technology. I mean, you and I did the social media workshop before COVID. Was it January? Or maybe it was this time last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
We did our first social media for small business workshop. And, a lot of people weren't even really social media savvy yet. They sure as heck weren't even close to anywhere on some kind of app technology. But COVID forced them into that. And, I mean, people like Kelsey's. Kelsey's has a to-go app. It's amazing. And these are restaurant owners that are I don't want to throw their ages out there, but they're older folks. And they've figured out app technology. The newer Four Seasons Cafe, great app. You can pay online, you walk in and pick your food up. And so those types of really cool things, those ability to add app. Coffee Mill has an app as well to order online. So it's forced people into technology and invest in some of that stuff. So we as residents need to be aware of that and make sure that it's not only the corporate guys that have those fancy apps you can order and pick up and stuff like that, which I used to, but the locals have that stuff now, and COVID kind of forced them into it.
That's awesome.
Good deal. Well, I don't know if we'll have another get together for another podcast based on what information occurs between now and the end of the year. This might wrap it up. So if it is our last episode of 2020, gentlemen, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And to everyone listening, Happy New Year and Merry Christmas. And we hope everyone stays well.
Merry Christmas, Tehachapi.
TehachaPod is a conversation about Tehachapi designed for the people who live here or who would like to know more about this mountaintop community. If you have a question you would like answered, email media@TehachapiCityHall.com. We will try to answer it on a future episode of TehachaPod.